You've probably heard people like Bernie Sanders talk about how the wealthy should pay their fair share in taxes, or how all these wealthy people pay zero tax. Which, there's reasons why that is the case. A lot of people do. Warren Buffett, the multi-billionaire, famously said how he pays lower tax rate than his secretary. Part of that is unrealized capital gains. It's not based on income. It's based on investments. There's a whole bunch of reasons why, but that is something that gets said a lot, is the wealthy should pay their fair share. Now, that's from Bernie Sanders. Now, economist Thomas Sowell said, what exactly is your fair share of what someone else has worked for? So there's two different kind of schools of thought on this idea of well, you have a whole lot, so you should give a whole lot. Meanwhile, how did that person get a whole lot? Some people are just handed wealth, and some people work really, really hard and make a lot of sacrifices, sacrificing time with their family, sacrificing leisure and all these things to gain that wealth, while someone else might not have as much wealth because they focused more on leisure. They focus more on family time. They focus more on downtime. They focus more on hedonistic pleasure and doing fun things. Meanwhile, someone's just grinding away day in and day out, not enjoying that time. Are they responsible for taking care of the person that didn't do it? I mean, think about in school. It's like one person stays inside and studies really hard. The other one goes out to the movies and goes partying. And then the person who partied gets a C. The person who studied gets an A. Should the person who gets an A give points to the person who gets a C so they both get Bs? That doesn't make sense. You make sacrifices, you make decisions in your life. Not everyone who's poor made bad decisions. Not everyone who's rich made good decisions. But largely that is the way that it works out. But taking into account this idea of, do the rich pay their fair share? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez famously wore the dress, tax the rich. Well, you can see here from the Internal Revenue Service that the vast majority of taxes come from the rich. That is the way that it works out. Okay, they do have more. We have a progressive tax rate in this country. So the more money you make, the more money you pay. But the idea of the rich should pay their fair share, a lot of that is focusing on people that have investments, not income. But if you have income, then you end up paying the most tax if you have the highest income. Another thing about this, tax the rich thing, I don't think it's just that people don't want to pay taxes. I think they don't trust where it goes. If you really believe that your taxes were going to help the needy, you might be more willing to pay. But if you know that your taxes are just going to buy bombs to go bomb a third world country or something like that, it's I don't want to support that. So the idea of tax the rich seems to be a lot more of a punishment against the wealthy. And we have to be careful about incentivizing things that punish people who essentially work hard, because one of the ways to become wealthy is by working really, really hard.